Hello everyone, odedex here, welcome to episode 63 of my Let's Play. As you can see, currently my quarry here is shut down for a very specific reason. I've played more with it off screen and I seem to have been encountering too many problems for too long. Now, the only time where this is running fine and doesn't cause any problem is only when I'm turning it on while I'm here and while I'm staying in the age. Then it's fine. But the moment when I start going between ages, or my game may, I don't know, for some reason crash, or I just leave the game, more often than not, the quarry just dies. It suddenly gets out of sync, suddenly some frames are disconnected, some of are, like as you can see, I've changed some of the wiring here, actually it's a little bit more efficient. That's because, again, some of those cables just disappeared or like were broken for no reason, and I had to replace them. I have an idea on why this is happening. Of course, this shouldn't happen, but I think why this is happening anyway is probably maybe because my circuitry is also a part of the moving frame. Like if it wouldn't move, or at least not move every single time, I think the chances of it being broken so much would have been much lower. So there are two solutions to this. Either scrap this thing completely or change the way it works. Now, I'm probably going to change the way it works, but for the time being I'm officially calling this machine broken and shutting it off. And for now I'm not going to use it until I'm going to fix it. I already have an idea pretty much on how to fix it, but it's going to require some time and some effort, and not yet. And I also would like to continue gathering resources while I come up with the fix. So this episode, since I do have this giant quarry going from top to bedrock, especially the fact that it's going to especially the fact that it goes to bedrock, and it's very close to where the good stuff are, the diamonds, the gold, the redstone and all of that, I'd like to try some Thaumcraft mining. Now, I've already researched the Thaumcraft mining tools, which are the bore and the bore base. Where is it? There we go. The Arcane bore. It's basically a tier 3 research. You can only craft it only after you've gotten the theory of everything. Basically, it's a very expensive, as you can see, it's not so cheap. It's require 64 metallum. It's going to require me a portable hole, which as it on itself isn't so easy to get. And also, I'm going to require that Arcane bore base, which is basically the way that that's the supposed quarry for Thaumcraft. I've played with it a little bit on test world and it seemed to be working very fine, very well, and I'd like to get started building it. Now, I'm gonna need some ender pearls, and it happens to be night on the overworld, so actually I'm gonna go on some enderman hunting, hopefully get some ender pearls, and I'm gonna get started. Okay, so the night is over. It's actually been quite fruitful. 5 ender pearls, not bad at all. So while I'm charging the rest of my suit here, I remembered something else that have happened between this episode and the previous one. I officially have drained my entire lava pool, which means my old age quarries are still running, but barely just. You can see they're all running on the reserves of lava, so they will stop running quite soon as well. I'm gonna, of course, let them run until they stop, but as you can see, all my geothermals here stopped working, and also those geothermals still have a spare of energy because it's not being used all the time, but it's gonna run out eventually. So I'm going to take care of that as well at some point. Okay, so let's get started with the actual bore. Alright, so I should have everything that I need. Let's find out. So let's actually begin with, I'm going to do a dispenser first, so let's quickly get one made. So string, and a bow, redstone, and 7 cobblestone. Give me a dispenser. Now for the rest of the things that I need, let's get started with the actual Arcane bore base. This is where basically this bore is made out of 2 parts. and this, it's a must, you can't skip it. So let's start with the base. So 4 arcane wood blocks, I may need more of those, I think. A dispenser, and is it iron ingots? Yep, gives me this thing, the arcane bore base. This is an essential part, you can't skip it. And next I'm going to need a portable hoe, because that's a part of the recipe which I don't have. So 4 enchanted fabric, which basically I'm going to need... I just brought a ton of pink wool and string for enchanted fabric, so let's just make a bunch. Again, no big deal. So I'm gonna need 4 enchanted fabric and an ender pearl. And for this, I'm going to need 16 permutatio, 24 alienis, and 24 vacuous. So I brought some chests for the vacuum aspect. Let's throw them inside. So because each chest has 4, so 6 chests. 24 alienis, I'm gonna use those things again. They're more easily accessible than ender pearls for me right now. So 12 obsidian totems have 24 of that aspect, so there we go. And 16 permutatio, just 16 seeds. And I've got myself a portable hoe, which is a very nice tool in itself, but I don't really need it right now, so no real need. And let's get the actual other recipe done. So I'm gonna need a piston, 4 golden ingots, 2 arcane blocks, a warded jar, and a portable hoe. I think I'm just gonna break 1 jar from here. Yeah, it's empty, don't mind about it. So 4 ingots, 2 of those additional blocks, the portable hoe, and what was the rest? The jar and a piston. Piston and a jar. Alright, so I already have the machina aspect. 64 potentia. That will be 8 golden, 8 iron nuggets, ingots. So 64 metal. 32 potentia will be 16 nicolite. It will also be 32 machina, but I already have that, so I don't need. Motus will be 8 rubber. And 24 vacuous will be again 6 chests. And I've got myself the arcane bore. Now the arcane bore and the arcane bore base on their own will not work. They actually, when you place them down, you can basically place 2 heads on the same base. You can place one at the top and one at the bottom, which is quite nice. You can decide where is the output, so you can place your chest here. But the thing is that every head, every bore head, will require a wand and a pickaxe. Now the wand, I think, has to be the green one, the wand of the excavation. But the pickaxe can be any type of pickaxe. But if you use specifically pickaxe of the core, you can actually get, of course, the fact that it can repair itself, because then chance of their both tools will stick. But also because pickaxe of the core, when you mine with it, you can get sometimes clusters, which is kind of a different way to double your production. It also applies to the actual bore itself. I'm more interested, to be honest, in the fact that it can repair itself, so it can be used longer. So I'm gonna keep those 2 for now. I'm just gonna create 1 wand and 1 pickaxe. If I manage to get them both properly enchanted, then awesome. If not, then so be it. I'm just gonna keep replacing them until I can get something good. And the other thing as well is that when you mine with the arcane bore, it uses this from the aura. So what I'm going to do is, I do have that 9 spare crystals that I made before. I'm actually going to use them and place them nearby the arcane bore. So when it's mining, at least some of this is being regenerated nearby. So let's start with the tools that I'm going to need. Actually, let's clear my inventory a bit first, and let's get started. Okay, so I've got pretty much everything that I need, but before starting I actually would like to upgrade my Thumbcraft storage chest to a diamond chest, because as you've just seen, it's officially full. So my first diamond chest, my Thumbcraft chest, there we go. I cannot actually sort it, at least not with the quick buttons, because it's colliding here. Alright, so the actual ones, actually, you know what guys, I think you've seen me create those enough. I'm gonna skip this and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got both a new pickaxe and a new wand. Let's see what I can enchant them with. Unbreaking and efficiency, unfortunately no fortune, but I'm gonna have to make do with whatever I've got. And let's also get a level 30 enchant for my wand. Let's see what I can get there. Because if you get fortune, it actually applies. Okay, I got treasure 3, so that's good. It's actually higher than what I have here. You know what? I'm gonna keep this and use this instead. Prefer having. You know what? Actually, no. Because I'm actually excavating with this, let's keep this as well. Can I apply? Ah, never mind, I'm not going to apply anything to them. I should have everything that I need to actually set the mining up. Let's get to actual arcane bore base, the arcane bore. I've got my tools. I'm going into the chest. Let's get the crystals, so it's going to start generating this around it. And I think that should be enough. I think they can also interface pretty well with frames. You can actually use a frame to move it around. But the fact being that an actual bore can mine pretty good without a frame, and they can just move it manually later, I really rather not deal with it at all. There is no point. And by the way, you can see that officially nothing is being processed at the moment, because my old quarries are also out of resources, because I'm no longer generating lava. So this is why I really want to get this thing up already. Okay, so first I'm gonna take one ender chest here. I'm gonna take this one because I do have the backup one up there. And I'm gonna go to the bottom of the quarry, and I think I'm gonna start actually just digging, oops, again. I'm just gonna start digging backwards. Now, I'm not sure how wide does the quarry dig actually on its own, so I'm just gonna assume, let's just build it 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, let's do it closer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this would be the arcane bore base. Let's have it facing like this, so it exits backwards, and the arcane head. Let's give it the wand of excavation. Now you can see actually what does it gain. So yeah, the width is 5, so it's gonna go exactly to bedrock or one layer above. It's gonna go, there is no speed bonus, at least not yet. Yeah, okay, because of the pickaxe, I think because of the efficiency 4, there is plus speed 4. It's gonna create native clusters, because that's the pickaxe of the core, and fortune 3 from the actual wand. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's set up their other things. The ender chest for the output. I actually forgot to bring a redstone signal. You actually need a redstone torch to turn this thing on. So it's gonna output here, and let's place crystals all around it. I just want to make sure that it wouldn't actually break them. Let's just place them underneath it. I think it shouldn't break them. So the blue one here, let's place the green ones all around. It's probably going to consume even more vis than what's being generated here, but it's better than nothing. Okay, so just let's get the redstone signal, and it should start working. Got my redstone torch, gonna place it right here, and give the arcane bore base a redstone signal, and it starts working. And there you go, it's gonna start mining. It's gonna do this tunnel shape. It's obviously not going to mine as fast as my red power quarry can mine. Actually, you know what, let's quickly get my goggles to see what's the damage or how much vis it consumes. It will be a good thing. Okay, so looking at the bottom left corner, actually I think the crystals are actually managing pretty well. And I just, yeah, noticing right now that the actual basic levels are extremely high. Like I have 844 basic vis levels here. But yeah, the crystal seems to be doing perfectly fine. I think I may actually... Okay, so this is... Yeah, this is 5 wide in the most simple basic sense of the meaning. It's actually 5 wide, not 5... I thought the radius of the circle would be 5. Apparently the diameter is 5. I think it's gonna go 64 blocks deep, at least by default. Unfortunately, my tools are not rechargeable because they don't have the recharge enchants, the repair or the charging. And actually, if they would, it would be consuming even more Vs, obviously. For every one level, you actually consume more. But it's quite a nice tool, to be honest. I can't really complain. I should also start gathering clusters. Yep, there we go. So I should add them to my actual processing. But for now... Yeah, you know what? Actually, this should be mounted... Ooh, a creeper. This should be mounted on a frame. Because this will not last very long. I'm going to need to move it, like in 5 or 10 minutes I'm going to need to move it again. Because it's going to probably reach the deepest point. But let's just let it run for now. Actually, I also just noticed that leaving the age here stops mining because obviously there is no chunk loader here. So, let me get one, and so it's quickly set up and ready to go. Okay, I got my chunk loader. I'm gonna place it... This time around I am going to go for a line. Just wanna make sure that indeed that's the... Yeah, that's the right line. Let's go... If it's gonna be able to mine 64 blocks, that means 4 chunks from the center, so radius is 4 chunks, no, 5 chunks, there we go. This should cover all the possible, like, very far inside there. So the chunks load before the quarry is actually trying to mine them. Actually, I don't know how you can possibly use this tool without a chunk loader. You're gonna have to force load the chunks that it's trying to mine. It's quite odd. How are my tools doing so far? Well, they have Unbreaking and Frugal, so yeah, they last slightly longer, but... Yeah. Okay, let's get proper sorting done for the clusters. Okay, I seem to have a problem. For some reason, it refuses to actually mine when I'm not there. The cobblestone that you're seeing rising right now, that's actually the cobblestone generators. If I'm gonna shut down those, you're gonna see that it actually doesn't do anything. Let's actually quickly do that. Let's turn all the redstone signal to require an on signal to actually operate. And you'll be able to see that my arcane bore isn't doing anything while I'm not there. And I don't know what that's the case, but that's annoying. You can see nothing is happening. And if I go there right now, it will suddenly start to work again. Magically it's doing stuff, but if I'm not here, it's not doing stuff. And that's kind of annoying. Why is that happening? Let's give it a quick test again. So right now it's mining, it's working. It has already some steel, everything is awesome. And now, back here, it's not working. Okay, let me try and figure out what's the problem. Okay, so I'm not sure what's causing it. And it's actually quite frustrating. Because I don't know what to fix, I don't know what's broken. So for now, if I'm not here, that's not mining. And, ooh, just actually to reach the bottom part. The furthest most. Okay, I don't think that's 64 blocks. Doesn't seem like 64 blocks, but seems like creeper explosion or something. Yeah, it's gonna have to be on moving frames or something. I know I can place those crystal clusters on frames and they can also be moved. But the problem is that if I'm not here and it's not working, then what's the point? It's not helping me. Now, it stopped working before it reached the finish, trust me, that's not the problem. There is another problem which I'm not sure what it's all about. Let's try... You know what? I have no idea. If you guys know what's the problem, let me know. But for now I can't actually use it because I can't use it. If I'm not here, it's not working. That's pretty much exactly the same problem I have with this redboard quarry. If I'm not here, it can break, and I'm not gonna let it break because it's too much of a hassle to fix it. It's not worth the trouble. So I'm back to square one. Need to find a different solution for mining. I may consider trying to fix this as soon as possible, in contrast to as late as possible. But for now, I actually would like to replenish my lava supply. So at least my old quarries can finish and I can get back to generating some more geothermal energy here. Because right now I'm running purely on nuclear energy, which is actually quite fine. It's not that bad, but yeah. I should also turn back these guys because I'm gonna need some cobblestone. So pretty sure, yeah, I'm gonna get another nether pump going and I'll be right back. I came here quickly just so you guys can see how it looks like when a pump is finished. And you can see there is a significant difference between this and what I had in my original pump. You can see that, yeah, this is how it should look like. Not like this when it suddenly stops for no reason. All this is all flowing lava, a remnant of source blocks, and simply that refuses to despawn. And you can see how high it actually was. I built my thing, I think the lava was either here or here, I'm pretty sure it was here actually. You can see how high it actually went down, like what is it, 8 layers? So it's actually serious business. So I'm going to get a new one made. I'm gonna keep this one, just, I don't know, for memory's sake, and I'm gonna just duplicate it in another spot. Okay, so there we go. I got my lava pump too, just coming here to finish it. Same design exactly. Filter, taking out lava buckets out of a redstone chest, a timer, ticking every, let's start with 1 second. And the actual location is not so far from my original pumps. Here you can actually see this second pump. The original was up there, the second one was here, and the third one is right here. No point in venturing into the yonder, there's no real reasoning behind it. Same looks, and same thing with the rolling machines. Actually, let's place down the redstone engines, the same one that I had before. Backup engines in case anything funny happens. And pretty much this one refuses to do anything. And why is that? Oh, whoops, this one is taking out, yeah. I need to make sure that it takes out empty buckets, not full buckets, because it's gonna cause some funny business. But yeah, there we go. Back in action. Okay, I think I have a feeling I know what's the problem with my Thaumatic bore. Right now my pump is also not working. I think somewhere in my configuration files I'm force loading or trying to force load too many chunks and the game simply refuses to let me force load any other chunks. So for example, right now for some odd reason this ender chest doesn't do anything anymore. And if I go there, suddenly it will keep working again. Magically, while I do have my chunk loader here, it does receive some redstone signal, but I don't think that's the problem. Okay, so again, now it's working. I leave, and now it stops working, or wait, still working. So is it the redstone signal? But that's not the case because my chunk loader in the... my Thaumcraft chunk loader didn't have that problem. Actually, let me look into the configuration files if there anything limiting amount of chunks loaded in a single player world. Let me see. Okay, so there was indeed a default value of chunks even in a single player world, although I'm pretty sure I didn't hit that value. It says to be 5,000 chunks. Now I'm pretty sure I didn't hit 5,000 chunks, but just in case I increased it to 50,000 chunks. Let's see. Let's try and just move this so I can continue mining here and see if it will have problems again. So quickly, how can I move this? Okay, let's get some cobblestone so I can manipulate the movement. Let's actually make this one continuous line because the radius is 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here it will be again. Okay, so I think you can just simply break it. Let's just be sure to take this out before doing that. But it should just be able to be broken, no problem. Or do I need a one to break it? I think I need a one to rotate it. Yeah. Okay, just break it as you would expect. Let's see if that was indeed a problem. If it was, it will be actually quite a nice thing to know that it can actually work and there is no problem here, but let's see. So this one here, this here, this here, give it the tools and turn it on. Okay, now it's working, it's giving me good stuff, it's mining, no problem. If I try to get to my overworld, by the way, chunk loader is still here, right? Still, yeah, forced loading very nicely. Okay, let's try getting a lot of enemies there. Let's try getting to the overworld. And it seems to be still broken. If you see cobblestone going up, it's because I turned on my extruders again, so they're working fine. But yeah, I still have an issue here, and I'm not sure what. If you have an idea, please share with me. It will be a good thing to know. At least knowing what's the problem is usually a good thing. Why is this working so slowly? It's working a lot slower than it should. Anyway, yeah, it's not working. Quite annoying, don't know why, but what can I do? Okay, so it seems like not only that the Thaumatic board is not working when I'm in a different chunk, maybe the problem is more complicated than I thought. It actually makes the entire game works extremely slowly. You saw how the timer didn't seem to work and that transposer didn't seem to work, and I actually noticed that everything else seems to be working extremely slowly. Seems to be doing something it shouldn't be doing, and that's causing it to be a little bit broken. So again, my Thaumatic boring fortunately is out of the question yet again, and I'm back to square one. Okay, one last thing I'd like to do before ending the episode is actually something completely new. I'm not exactly sure when, or maybe it was been here from the beginning, but at some point there was another mod added to the pack called Xeno's Requiliari or something like that, which is a mod by Xenophobe, the original creator of Equivalent Exchange and Equivalent Exchange 2, before Pymar pretty much took over development. But it adds a lot of different things that actually made sense in the original Equivalent Exchange. There are a lot of vanity tools, a lot of useful, nifty tools, which can be used in endgame. And the first tool I'd like to make this episode actually is Sojourner's Staff. This is actually quite a nice tool. It's not too crazy, it's not too complicated to make, and it's also not very expensive, but it's a very nice and convenient tool. It basically consumes torches as if they're fuel and lets you place them in a distance, or basically just instead of holding a stack of 64. I think this one holds like 10 stacks or something. It holds pretty much a very large amount of torches. So whenever I get back to exploring the Twilight Forest, it's a very convenient tool instead of going back and forth between and getting torches. So to get that made, actually, I'm going to need 2 magma creams, a blaze rod, and 4 gold ingots. Now I think I should have 2 magma creams. Yep, there we go. A blaze rod, 4 golden ingots, and a new item altogether, which I've never made before and actually don't know how to make. Let's figure it out. I'm gonna need a condensed splash serum with 3 redstone. I think in order to create that, I simply need a vial of ordinary water, which requires gunpowder and nether warts. So actually, let's get all of those side materials first. I'm gonna need glowstone and some nether warts. And I think to create the most basic vial, or whatever it is, I just need, if I'm not mistaken, 5 glass panes in a specific shape. Let's see. I think something like this. Yep, there you go. It gives me those 5 empty vials. That's the most basic thing in Xenos Requiliari. I'm going to find how to pronounce it because it's quite ridiculous. Okay, so for what I need, I'm going to need 2 of them. So 2 glowing water. Pretty simple. I believe you just fill it like so. 1, 2. Yep, there we go. So we can save those 2 for now. Let's see. So first I'm going to need 2 of those. Then I'm going to need to add some glowstone to them. And I can basically create the stuff. Again, it's, as you can see, it already starts storing torches. This is one of the more cheap tools in this mod. But if you remember in the original Cold Exchange, and actually in the Cold Exchange 2, it had a lot of endgame fun tools that let you do stuff otherwise you can do. And they're very, you could say they're unbalanced, I don't know, I just like them a lot, they're very convenient to use. Now I do have a ton of charcoal that I keep collecting from all those sawdust, so let's actually use all of that to create more torches so I can fill up my reserves here. And you'll be able to see how awesome that thing is actually, That's a very convenient tool to use. You're about to see why. Let's just create a bunch of torches and you can see it simply consumes them and replenishes its durability. Because they're basically, that's the fuel for that tool. Okay, so you can keep filling it up, but don't really need to. So first you can use it just like any torch placement. You just place the torches, of course break them, recollect them, and it will refuel again. But the convenient thing about it is you can remotely place torches. Now apparently, yeah, there is a range limit, but instead of placing, let's say, a torch here, you can move further, place it again, another one, and you can see it actually consumes more fuel, more durability when I do that. But when you explore a very large cave or very large area, and torches are extremely cheap, to be honest, I don't really mind. It's a very convenient thing to do and use. So yeah, just wanted to end the episode on a positive note, because whatever I try to do with my quarries doesn't seem to work, so at least I wanted to end with something nice and useful. So there you go, that's the stuff. There are a bunch of other things as well. There is this touchstone of Midas. It's actually quite nice. When you have any gold gear in your inventory, and some monsters tend to drop a lot of gold gear, especially in the Twilight Forest, it will consume glowstone dust as fuel and repair their durability, which is quite nice, to be honest. It's again, most of those things are more funny and like vanity stuff, other than being extremely useful and powerful. But yeah. Well, anyway, as always, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.